driving doing this. I know, don't wreck. Okay. This is what you are entering. I mean, you go through a little small town and it's quaint, like you never expected. Any train? Go! Just trying to give you the experience. Wish the sun was out. Okay, still not there. But nice little drive. All right, Jess. It was a country ride. And wow.
In half a mile, the destination is on your left, 432 Linden Hall Road.
So here is the golf course. Oh, it is pretty. This is kind of like the Greenbrier wedding that you wanted, but without the Greenbrier. Very serene. Gives you a good feeling. Wow, I like the mountains. You can't see them yet, but I can see them in the distance because of the fog. That's pretty. Kind of reminds me of like the Pines Country Club. Okay. Approaching something that looks like their center. Pro shop. Okay, I'm gonna go here. And oh, restaurant, fishing lake, pool, conference center, motel, mansion. We're going to mansion. Sign mansion. Oh, there it is. It's very cool. There's what? Hey there, little water. Hey there, little guy. Come. Ready, Mark? Get set, go! Oh, run! Run! Good, thank God. You know me and animals. Not good. Very pretty. Here's the mansion. Oh, that's the wedding gazebo area. Isn't that pretty? And then that looks over that. Wow. Oh, there's a pond area down there. That is very cool.
11, and the home was dedicated in 1913. It's 32,000 square feet.
Wow.
So
it's
this
gorgeous.
actually, where we entered, was the rear of the home.
Okay.
The
Is this
front
where
porch-
would they come in this way?
So guests and then the wedding party would focus on entering here.
Okay.
And then this would be just an open space. We could have a couple of tables set up for guest chairs. You may be interested in exploring a cocktail hour immediately to follow the ceremony. This is our living room.
Our living nice living room.
I know, right?
So what would this space be for?
This would be where the hors d'oeuvre service would be served out.
Oh, okay.
So
That's cute.
what we've done this year is we've literally floated a buffet down the center aisle here. We have what we offer in our packages, which somewhat sets us apart. We do offer floor-length linen and linen napkins in your package, so you wouldn't have to really focus too much on that.
So you can go out there and enjoy. Can I open it up?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Actually, out this way.
Oh, yeah, okay. Or I'll go. I wasn't able to.
No, don't worry. This here opens up.
Oh, is this
is
pretty?
called a solarium.
Oh, this is so bright. And then people can just use this and relax if they want it?
Absolutely. So we have a bar with 2 bartenders set up here, serving guests. So guests, ideally, what would happen would be after the ceremony, we would guide the guests through the solarium door here, get their drinks, and then go get their hors d'oeuvres, and then they would come out into this gorgeous. You're gonna want to take this.
Oh my goodness.
This view. It's pretty awesome.
Oh.
Isn't it amazing?
And it is just
It's breathtaking.
beautiful.
Thank you. I
Very,
think
very.
So these tables here would seat 48 guests here just on the
Just
porch
here
itself.
on the porch.
Absolutely. We would drape these with linen, either the white or ivory, whatever our bride selected. And then you overlook down here, which is pretty awesome, our wedding tent. Event last night, so our crew has not been up here yet. This was the gold room. This was Mrs. Cochran's drawing room, so she would have intimate teas in here with her dear friends. This table is original to the home. The
I was gonna say,
architect strongly advised her to build a room for those to smoke and drink in.
This is the smoking room.
So she called it the devil's room. She had
The devil's room?
She had
Oh.
a sense of humor, I would say, right? A little
Are
sarcasm.
these like little devil horns
Yes,
up there?
There's devils overlooking her guests. This is all original. So she would literally
This is so
ask
fabulous.
her guests to go out these double doors. There's a little porch outside
Oh,
here. They would go enjoy their cigar or cigarette, air out for 15 minutes, come in, wash their hands over here, and then they can join her again.
and that's just a sink.
It's actually, this would be the most handicap accessible restroom. So tucked behind here,
Is
there is a toilet.
Oh,
So,
Someone-
this is John Adams' room in the White House. It's an oval. And we have the sterling silver with the mother of pearl inlays. She loved the color blue. So you'll see the sconces have that detailing. All of the, as I call gingerbread, is plasterwork. It's not woodwork,
I gotcha.
which is pretty remarkable. When Jodie Foster was filming Silence of the Lamb in a little town by the name of Layton, not too far from here, she rented the mansion and stayed here for a few weeks, which is pretty awesome. So she did have a dinner in here. The only individual that is permitted to have any dinners in here is the CEO, Leo Gerard of the United Steelworkers.
So you
No
gotta
one
be
else
pretty
is permitted.
special.
Yeah, pretty special dude.
But you said that wedding parties could do pictures
They
in
can
here.
absolutely, yeah. They could just look in and take photos. We're not even permitted to walk on the carpet. This is an Arabic carpet. It was re-stenciled once
Oh,
by the steelworkers. It's original to the home, just not to the dining room. It's quite remarkable. This is solid mahogany. This has never been restored, so this is original. We did just add this season. Please forgive us if we vacuumed after last night's event. Still, the runners, which adds a little depth.
I like the
To the
runners.
space. Thank you. What's really awesome
Wow.
is this dome, and then Mrs. Cochran did commission Tiffany to do 9 panels here. We had Tiffany windows here. They honestly are indescribable.
Wow.
They were blue and they mimicked her garden. So once we get to the top here, you'll see outside into her English gardens in the center. She has the original fountain. So the fountain was here in these 3 panels, flanked by her favorite flowers, bluebells and hydrangea. So that was pretty spectacular. So we were sad to see the Tiffany's go. Here we have the dome that is actually lined with 18 karat gold.
Wow.
And then fabric. So it's not wallpaper, it's fabric. And then directly underneath here, we have an Aeolian organ that's on the first floor.
An organ.
That sings through the entire home. So this is the chime room on the 3rd floor.
So do you play that for weddings?
You could absolutely hire. There's one local gentleman. He used to be the curator here, Eugene Lentz.
Okay.
He can play it. So you could absolutely hire him to
I
come
bet
in
that
and do
is
it.
beautiful
Oh my
sounding.
gosh, it's like you're in the movie Titanic. It's magical and it's loud and it just gives you chills.
Do people
So-
use that in their weddings then?
No one yet thus far, but
Really?
yeah, but you could hire Eugene to do it. He'd be honored. So that's something to think about
cool.
for the cocktail hour.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But here is the refresher suite. So it's a total of 4 rooms that we're giving you. So here's the rose room.
Okay, so this is where someone would stay.
They could actually, So the girls would just put their dresses.
Oh,
up
this is where
here.
they get dressed and okay.
Exactly. So unfortunately, we don't
This is-
offer overnight
This
accommodations.
is just to get
exactly
outfits on. You can.
Yeah, you could touch up. This is an original restroom that still is functioning. So girls can use that. And then this opens up into the blue room.
Oh my.
The girls, the brides themselves are really drawn to this room. And then here is the sitting rooms. This we would permit. So, you know, we're a food and beverage service venue. So we don't permit you bringing in outside food or alcohol. We would permit you bringing in your own champagne and maybe fruit for this suite only for the day of. So that's something to think about. But this was her main sitting room for guests. When guests stayed here with her, they stayed on the second floor.
Gotcha.
And then she's more restroom access down here for those that can do the stairs. So
Okay.
this opens up into the billiards,
This is-
bowling alley, and sauna.
This is where the guys
This
got
is where
dressed
the
at that one
guys
wedding.
got dressed,
Oh,
actually September
check
16th
it
wedding.
out. The old. That is. Can they actually do anything, or is this just for show?
It's just for show at this point,
Yeah.
absolutely. But we do permit photos down here, so
Okay.
that's not a problem. We do have additional restroom access for our ladies through here. This was the sauna. Now we converted it. So we have a couple stalls in here. Sorry, the cleaning staff came in.
Okay, that's no problem. So
these
in
are
here.
closed, yeah, so restrooms are in here. Fairly minimalistic, but
No,
it
it's
serves
just-
its perfect purpose, so.
People understand with getting something historical like this.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
gonna.
And then the men's room, we make our men walk. So they would walk through Mrs. Cochran's walk-in dryer and washroom across the other end of the home. Take you over. These
Okay.
some cool features down here. We actually have a tunnel that runs from the mansion down to the carriage house. Here, if somebody would be getting married in the gardens, they literally begin their walk here,
Okay.
which is awesome. So it's a nice long grand walk
It's beautiful.
down to the garden. So we have here, so we're on the register of the National Register of Historic Places, which is pretty awesome. So we have our little plaque here to represent that.
This
And
is
then-
just breathtaking.
Isn't it awesome? It still looks pretty great though from our flowers. I mean, they're holding up, but it was spectacular up until about 3 weeks ago, with everything blooming still.
Right.
So what we do is we switch out with autumnal pieces if we have to. So we always try to keep it dressed. So there's two options here in terms of ceremony sites. In front of the fountain, bride and
Okay.
groom would stand there.
And then you'd have the chairs out here
Exactly.
in the lawn.
Flanked on either side.
I think I saw pictures on your website with that. That is
Perfect.
pretty.
So they're just metal white folding chairs, very,
Uh-huh.
very minimalistic.
Yeah.
You could decorate those or just leave them
I
as
saw
is.
flower petals. And,
Yes, so you have permission to do that.
Okay.
You could do, so we do include in our package an arbor, a trellis.
Oh, okay.
So you would be
Okay.
responsible. You could decorate it to your liking. Again, we're giving you a blank slate, which is
Okay.
awesome. So that's an option there. We do have electricity that runs to the fountain.
Okay.
So we do
Is
not
this-
provide sound. So a DJ or another party, you
Could
would
bring-
organize it through them for a microphone or something of that nature. But we do have power here that they could plug into. The fountain does still work. It's original. So it all spills into that bowl sitting on top of that child's head, and it just spills down. It's very peaceful, Dion. Then option two. So obviously you can seat up to 500 people. Yes.
Wow.
In the lawn itself, which is kind of stadium seating, which is pretty sweet. There you could tier it if you had to. Here at the gazebo, which is original, you can get 200 guests on this on either side here, which is amazing. Now,
How do you choose? I mean, they're
I
both.
know it's pretty awesome, isn't it?
I mean, they're both.
Thank you. And there's not much that you have to do here. So again, we would do the setup with the white chairs here on either side. It overlooks our lake and peninsula, our golf course, and then the remaining portion of the property.
Wow. Speechless. which the tent will be air conditioned. That's the one thing. They don't have central air at the main place, but they do have central air in the tent.
So we'll start inside and work our
Okay.
way out if you don't mind. So
Absolutely.
it's a 60 by 90 tent.
Okay.
So it literally, our maximum guest seating we could accommodate would be 300.
Okay.
So 200.
Perfect.
Perfect. So we just had our last, please forgive me, our last tent wedding this past weekend. So it will be coming down this week.
So is that part of the rental, the lights, or does that come with
So that's included. So what I'm working on for the season for next year is getting new lighting. So I can't make a guarantee, but that's, I'm given a wish list from the steelworkers. So that's my first. We want to revamp that a little. But you'll see here, Lisa, along this side,
Right.
air conditioners. So this is the vents for the air conditioners.
Is it very loud, or is that?
It's
Oh, okay.
actually, it's pretty awesome. They're industrial size units. There's 4.
Uh-huh.
And it's $600 collectively for the 4 units.
Okay.
To cool the tent, which is amazing.
Okay. So that's part of the additional cost that we get.
That would be absolutely. So let's hypothetically say marriage at the mansion, followed by reception here. The rental for the tent and then the mansion is $1,890.
Okay.
And for next year, I don't think that there's going to be a 5% increase on that. I think he's going to keep it what it is, but I
Okay.
can't be held to that. But I'm pretty sure the air conditioners would be in addition to that. So it would be the $1,890 plus the $600, which is pretty good value in terms of what we're offering.
And
now, try to visualize.
I know, with tables and
hard,
linens,
yeah.
and I've seen pictures, so that's
Perfect.
you know.
So we
and then
have round
dance-
tables here. They're
Okay.
72-inch rounds. So the maximum guest seating at those rounds would be 10 guests per table.
Okay.
You could go down to 7. I wouldn't go below 7. It looks too sparse. We artfully stagger them. So I would do a floor plan that I would send our bride and groom.
Okay.
Based on what their wishes were. I would send it to them and they would say, yay, we want to move forward, or no, can we adjust it a little? We are very flexible.
Okay.
If something got in the way of maybe guest flow or traffic flow, I would guide them and say, hey, let's look at this. It's going to be better all together. But for the most part, I'm very open. The dance floor here in the center really
Oh, okay.
So I'll show
So
you love.
how does that work in terms of like, does that, like some places have cash bar and regular bar, do you offer that, or is that all inclusive, like because
it's all
of?
inclusive in our package, so
Okay.
it's pretty amazing. I would direct you toward, there's an $85 tent package, $85 per guest. That'll probably, like I said, that will not exceed 5% of an increase for next season.
Okay.
Okay, so that's gonna be under $90.
So wait, if you
so
want
that
to
in-
keep the alcohol down to a low, like is there can you keep where you have the alcohol during hors d'oeuvres and then dinner and hors d'oeuvres and then close it down for dinner and then open it back up, like to conserve, or is it just
You
like
can-
no matter what, unlimited?
That's a great question. So in that package, we offer a 4-hour bar. 1
Okay.
hour is used at the mansion for cocktails and hors d'oeuvres.
Okay.
You have 3 remaining hours for your reception here at the tent.
Okay.
So to back up, you get 7 hours rental.
Okay.
If you're getting married at the mansion for the tent reception, it's 7 hours included
Okay.
in that $1,890
Nice.
currently. So with that being said, let's hypothetically say there's a 4:30 ceremony, okay, in the
Yes.
garden. So let's say it'll take a half hour. So 5 to 6, you'd have cocktails and hors d'oeuvres at the mansion. 6 o'clock, we'll start transitioning guests down to the tent. So they'll literally drive their vehicles up there
Okay.
to the mansion. We have staff here that solely is dedicated to showing guests where to park.
Okay.
We don't valet, but we show them, so there's no confusion. And we keep that traffic flowing really well. So we'll start transitioning guests down to the tent. Again, we're parking guests down here too, so there's never a problem. So let's hypothetically say you guys would want to keep the bar closed when guests are arriving to the tent. So we'll get them in there, get them seated, get the wedding party corralled. I would assume they would want to be introduced into the tent,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So you could keep that bar closed until after dinner service.
Right.
So introductions, you'd have speeches maybe followed by a blessing.
Right.
We would start after the blessing or the last speaker. We would start serving your appetizer, and that would be homemade wedding soup that's made the day of, or that would be a fresh fruit cup. Then after that, the buffet service would begin.
Okay.
So the buffet service is actually served out of this room. I just want to make sure we don't have a steelworker grip in here.
Okay.
On the side of these windows, there's 2 bars, bartender at each. Our bartenders are very skilled, along with all of our serving staff. One bartender here can serve 100 guests
Oh, wow.
on their own. So 2 fully stocked bars here. With that $85 package, we offer top shelf liquors.
Okay.
And that's built in, so that's not an addition. So what's built into our packages are your food, your beverages, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, your tax, 6% sales tax on the food, 21% gratuity for our bartender and serving staff. That's all built into that $85. Our St. James room.
What
which
is
part of
this?
The motel. So this is the common area for the motel guests.
So people can actually go from there to here and then eventually out there.
Yeah.
Or you have your pictures and.
Absolutely. So this here, our buffet service is served out of here. So just try to visualize.
Okay.
Okay, so we have 2 buffets. One approximately here, set up here.
Oh.
One approximately set up here.
I
So you're getting
see.
4 lines of guests through.
Oh, I got it. And then they just take their food and they go and sit down.
Yeah, so my serving staff, they will call the
Okay.
tables. They have sections like you would in a restaurant.
And is this, I'm sure, decorated with the linens and the table?
It's all draped in the linen that you would
Okay.
choose, may that be ivory or white.
Okay.
And then what I've been doing to just add a little character on our end at no additional cost, I make these beautiful buffet cards. I have frames,
okay.
and I'll get photos, engagement photos from the bride and groom, and if they would be kind to email them to me, I make personalized. It would say chef carved prime rib, and I'd have their engagement photo. It just adds cute little touches. Or if they don't want it, that's fine. But we have the buffet cards telling guests what our selections are for the service, and then I've been adding engagement photos. I have really cute frames that I add to the fireplace.
Oh, that's neat to make it
And
more family.
Yeah, and then you guys can add anything to our
you
fireplace.
can decorate there.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. So that's not a problem. And then this opens up. Okay, so we have 2 restrooms here, single stalls.
okay.
Immediately right out of the.
That's
right out of
easy.
the- Barbie. Up the stairs, we have multiple stalls for guests that can do the
Okay.
stairs. So the motel actually does not have an elevator.
Okay.
So when guests are making reservations, our staff here is very conscious of asking, do you need first floor accommodations?
Gotcha.
Yeah, if that's needed. We do have smoking and non-smoking
And it would be
sections.
your just your guests pretty much staying here.
Exactly.
Right.
So we have 74 rooms.
Okay.
71 of those rooms have 2 double beds in them.
Okay.
And then the remaining 3 are king rooms.
Okay.
Linden Hall will provide a king room for our bride and groom, complimentary for Saturday night.
Okay.
So that's really nice too, for
this-
that Saturday.
Is this what is this? Is this Linden Hall right here?
This is
Okay.
all Linden Hall, absolutely.
Okay, so thrown in there is
Yeah.
their accommodations.
accommodations
for the one evening.
for the one evening.
Perfect.
If
That's
if you guys decide to move forward and book in your contract, I can put a room block
Okay.
in for Friday and for Saturday.
Yeah.
So once you get over 35 rooms in your block, we will hold you responsible for essentially guaranteeing that those rooms will be booked. And if they're not, then you would be responsible for paying for them. So once you get over that 35 mark, that's where there's a side agreement that will have to be signed saying we'll take responsibility if they're not booked. The last wedding, they bought the entire motel. So they got all 74 rooms. And there were only, I think, 5 rooms that didn't book, and they were responsible for paying for those rooms because we're open to the general public. So we're missing out on outside reservations because we're holding the block
Right.
over 35. That's kind of our maximum.
We have a lot of people international and coming from
Sure.
Chicago, so we would definitely
You would need
need
accommodations.
accommodations.
It's not a problem.
That would be
So that's
a big
something.
must.
That's something to think about.
Very
and
neat.
then I don't know, Barbie. Do we have a room open? I could show Lisa.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
probably.
thank you.
If you'd like to see.
And this
one.
is where they come in to check in.
Thank you. We have direct to heat,
Oh,
we have
yeah.
air conditioning. We have heat. We have ironing boards. So
This is very standard and very
currently
good.
it's $109.50. That includes your tax,
unbelievable.
your gratuity, and your breakfast.
I've been trying to
Thank
call
you.
you, honey, and I went up to the mansion
Oh, great.
to just let you know they're in my office.
Thank you. I'll be
Okay.
there shortly.
So you-
Thanks, Lovin.
Breakfast is included
Breakfast
with the
hot-
109.
Yeah, hot buffet breakfast.
Oh my
It's not
gosh.
continental. Hot buffet breakfast. that's included as
That's-
well, plus tax and gratuity, so you can't beat it.
Unbelievable.
Single occupancy is $95.50 currently, so that will increase no more
Okay.
than
All
5%.
right. Okay.
I have a
so there-
gorgeous picture of it
the
too.
fireworks would be right there over by the tree line.
So they would go up right in the middle of the mansion. And it's literally, we had Ann Abrams, she was my June 3rd bride this year. She had them, and they were from Upper St. Clair, and they were an awesome crowd, and they had never really been, I mean, they were in the city, so they'd never been in the rural area. They said they've never been to a wedding like this, but they closed out
would
their
be
reception.
memorable.
It was amazing. So it was a surprise.
Like a nice. Oh.
It was a surprise. You could do it as a surprise, or you can put it on the invitation, whatever you're comfortable doing. So it's a $50 permit that we would
Okay.
get from our borough here. I would get it for you,
Okay.
add it onto your invoice,
Okay.
and then you would pay the gentleman that owns the
I'm
fireworks
curious.
company.
Like, how much is something
So
like that run?
theirs was $1,600, but it was over 10 minutes. The show, like it was a show. It was not just a little dinky.
I bet that's probably
amazing.
worth every cent.
It was. And what we did here to accommodate guests, so myself and I have an assistant that we're here the entire day. We run the reception and make sure all guests are happy. We lined this with lights. So it was an easy path for guests to get, because
Oh, okay.
we take them into the back of this field. And
Okay,
they all
they
line
watch
up
it.
and watch them. And then the reception concludes.
And hopefully you have good weather.
Exactly. So that's an option. We do permit that. So it was $1,600. That's what that bride paid. Now it may go up next year. I don't know.
Right.
But
Neat.
we do not permit those sparkler marches. So that's one thing we don't permit. But if she wanted glow sticks or whatever, we do permit that. So
neat.
yeah, and no Chinese lanterns. That was not approved by the steelworkers just because of them. That's a possibility they would land on the tent and there would be a catastrophe.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of questions about that. Unfortunately, they're gorgeous, but unfortunately, there's too many trees and it's too much of a risk. So insurance risk.